And what race are you going to play? I'm definitely going to play Terran in StarCraft 2. I'll probably putter around with the other races a little bit, but Terran is my race for life. The unit I'm most excited about is the Vulture with flamethrowers. I definitely want to use that unit. Alright. Artosis, when you're learning Korean at university and want to do something esports related with it in Korea, is there a chance even if you're D+? Well, you know, they are looking for translators over here a little bit, and I guess you'd have to be really, really good at Korean for that. Other than that, there are not a lot of positions open for people in the esports industry over here. In fact, I am the only person with a full-time job over here in the esports industry that is not Korean. So as of right now, I would say no unless you are fluent in both languages, English and Korean, or maybe even Korean and Chinese. But then again, you're probably not watching this, are you? Other than that, you know, you're going to have to wait until esports grows a little bit more and Korea gets more globalized, because right now the pickings are very, very slim. Let's see. Hey, at Artosis, never seen Draco give up so early. Was he cold for the game, or was it Sen surrounding Draco early in the game with good expanding? I think that Sen just completely outplayed Draco. He definitely was not in his top form, and Sen is just completely beastly right now. You know, Sen played really smartly. He took some risks, he adapted. Not big risks, but, you know, little risks like expanding to that other base. And it really paid off for him. Draco ended up just getting rolled over because of this. The two games that really stick out in my mind are the first game where Sen expands across the map on the 4-player map, and then Draco scouts it last with the Corsair and the Zealots and everything, so he didn't have any real timing to kill it. And then also, you know, let me talk about that game for a second. Sen, you know, does this small risk, you know, okay, it's expanding up there, it's going to be hard to hold. If he finds it right away, he's probably not going to find it right away. I'm going to take this little risk. And that little risk pays off huge dividends because Sen is such a good player. And then we have game 3 on Outsider, which Sen saw that Draco was going 1 gateway expansion, holding the top of his ramp, and Sen decided to go 2-hash Lurker real fast. Sen kind of saw what he was doing. He was like, you know what? Alright, I'm going to do this really quick Lurker build because he is going to be far behind as far as, you know, economically, well, not economically speaking, but tech speaking. He's not going to have observers, he's not really going to have, you know, if he makes the cannons and stuff, he's just spending a lot of minerals on static defense on the top of his ramp. Then Sen could have abused the mobility of Zerg, you know, drop some lurkers behind, stuff like that. So I think Sen, you know, it was kind of all-in-ish at the end, but it was a really good choice. And so I think that's kind of what happened there. And I don't think Draco really left so early. I think he pretty much knew. He's like, oh, okay, I'm dead. Alright. At Artosis, Winners Pro League, really versus Jongbi. What do you think about using Medics blind into Observer Shuttles or even Overlords when in TVZ? In TVZ, blind isn't good. It's just really not very good at all unless you're using some weird late game nuking strategy where you're hitting fringe expansions. Other than that, let's see, the TVP. I really liked his use of the blind against Jongbi because Jongbi is really known as such a heavy robotics user. You know, he gets a lot of speed shuttles, a lot of reavers, and just making a medic with blind here was really smart because think about it. You know, blind isn't very good, but when it's a very small amount of units, such as just shuttles flying around, suddenly it becomes quite good. So he blinds the shuttles, and that messes Jongbi up. And then the killer is the follow-up to that, because Jongbi uses so much of his robotics time pumping out shuttles, pumping out reavers, that he does not have the normal amount of observers. So then sea.really uses that to blind this lessened amount of observers that Jongbi has. And that just kind of, it piles up on Jongbi a little bit. So it was really kind of a brilliant move there that sea.really pulled off. And specifically very good against Jongbi. Overall, I do not suggest you start doing this, because if someone's just pumping observers and you're trying to blind them, you're wasting APM, you're wasting time. They aren't going to care all that much. But in this exact circumstance, it worked out great for sea.really, and I was really happy to see it. Very good question. Thank you so much for asking. I did want to talk about that at least a little bit. Alright, let's see. Okay. Hey, Artosis, what's up with female SC leagues in South Korea? There used to be a female Star League here. Didn't get that good of ratings. No one really cared to watch that much because there really weren't that many good playing girls. Toss Girl really is the only girl here of any note in StarCraft skill, and that's kind of why they shut it down. Just who really wants to watch that? You know, it's just not that competitive over here for girls. They just don't care for it that much, I guess. So yeah, I don't think we'll ever see the reemergence of that. Let's see here. Why are there so many mirror matchups in the Shinhan Bank Pro League? Well, you know, the maps, they aren't perfectly balanced. If we had more maps like Destination, you'd be seeing a lot more matchups. The teams kind of boil down, okay, these are the races that are good in these maps. We're not going to put out a race that's not good in the map, so we hit a lot of mirror matchups there. That's just kind of the way it works out. Let's see. So yeah, I think that's about it for the really interesting questions from Twitter this week. Thanks to all who threw in some. I messaged some of you back already personally. The good ones, some of the good ones at least I put on the show. I'm getting a lot of them. Keep on sending them in. I'll give you a little instructional video at the end of this weekly news to show you how to do it. I think it really helps and improves the show. Some really good questions coming out each week. Alright, well, let's go on then to the Korean StarCraft news. And let's start off with the Kesper rankings for February. They are up, and we see in first place we have Jaedong, followed very closely behind by Flash, and then a whole bunch of Zergs, Calm, Quanro, Effort, Zero, followed by some Protosses here, Stork, Cal, and then Movie. Movie, thanks to his big move up through the OSL. And then finally we have a couple Terrans again with Fantasy and Huashin. And I do like to see Huashin so highly ranked. You know, Huashin actually is the worst TVT player I've ever seen. But, you know, he ends up winning half of them somehow. And he's doing really well. You know, he's many times he's been one of the top 3 Terrans in the world. And now he's finally really showing it through his Kesper ranking. And behind him we have Bisu, Shine, Lita, Light, and more and more. I like this ranking, except for the ridiculous amount of Zergs up at the top. A lot of this is due to the recent set of maps and the evolved ZVP that we've seen. Zergs are just really good nowadays, too. So that is another reason. I think that Flash is probably going to pass up Jaedong in the next month or so. He is just still playing like a monster. Yes, Jaedong won that silly MSL, but it seems like Flash is a little bit more solid recently, especially with that recent match in the Pro League against Jaedong. So, bye Jaedong. Let's get another Terran back on top of the Kesper ranking. Alright, I want to show quickly a little frustrating move that I saw this week in the Winners League. Really frustrating. Well, for the Terran player, really happy moment for the Protoss player. Let's take a look at it real quick. Okay, so let me set this up for you. This is Samsung Khan against Eastro. It's the final match. It is Stork against sea.really. sea.really has been on a sick killing spree. He's playing very well. And this is a map very much like the old Guillotine map. I'm sure you've seen it around a lot recently. And Stork has gone for a very fast Nexus. In response to this, sea.really has decided to throw up a command center, but this is going to put him a little bit behind. This is taking the bad end of build orders. The Protoss Nexus is going to be up a lot faster, and Protoss is going to dictate most of the game, economically speaking. But sea.really, his macro is actually better than Stork's, so he can do something like this and just try to play for the long game. Now, he's made a quick Vulture before his add-on, and that is what this play is going to center around, basically. Now, let's take a quick look at this. You see the probe on the screen here. This is Stork's probe going down to sea.really's base, and we're going to see the Vulture in just a second here. So let's take a look. And there goes the Vulture. Here comes down the probe, and that you see the command center building. This probe is eventually going to build a pylon right there, and it's going to annoy sea.really. There goes the first Zealot chasing the Marine. And watch this Vulture now. This is actually huge. Down here, no